Anyway, now that I've shown you the fucking depraved side, here is an opportunist who is moving away. Here's an opportunist who is at the very least moving away from the wrong side as he sees the writing on the wall, as he sees the attitude shift from broader Western public. Piers Morgan is now taking to task members of the Israeli state as though they are Hasanabi Piker in the early months after October 7. Never did I think I would see this day where Piers Morgan would be, by way of, by way of being a careerist, but still, Piers Morgan would be on the right side of an issue, and Ethan Klein would be on the fucking wrong side of said issue, and the issue being Israel doing a genocide. It is incredible.
50,000 Hamas. Others have put the total figure at around
he's outflanked Bernie Sanders, by the way.
5,000, which begs the question, if after 18, 19 months now, you have been waging this ferocious war against 25, 26,000 terrorists, and you still haven't defeated them, your strategy is failing. How many children have you killed?
Piers, Israel is not killing children. Israel is not killing children. Hamas is using them as human shields.
Israel is killing children every single day. And what you're trying to do is be very weaselly with your words.
No, I'm not.
The truth is, you are killing a lot of children. You would argue you're doing.
Why it's caused?
Hang on, let me
because
finish.
Hamas is using them as human shields, and you know that.
Let me finish my question to you. You are killing a lot of children on a daily basis. That is indisputable. My interesting question for you is, how come you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you have no idea how many children you've killed? Several key points in the war on Hamas. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert has denied that Israel would kill civilians deliberately and denied the charge of war crimes. He now says this.
The statements made by Israeli cabinet ministers, the leading cabinet ministers, that say we should starve Gaza. What is it if not a war crime? I mean, how can a serious person representing the Israeli government can spell it out in such an explicit manner that we should starve Gaza, that there should be no supply of basic fundamental humanitarian needs to a couple of millions of people living there. They are terrorists that we need to fight, but this is not a war against Hamas. This looks more and more like a political war of the Israeli Prime Minister and the cabinet and the group of thugs which are now representing the Israeli government inside Israel and across the world are committing actions which can't be interpreted in any other way.
Well, Olmert also said, and I quote, the government of Israel is currently waging a war without purpose, without goals or clear planning, and with no chances of success. Meanwhile, Ehud Barak, another former prime minister and former IDF chief of staff, says the war is now purely for Netanyahu self-preservation. Yair Golan, an opposition voice and a former army deputy chief of staff, said Israel is, quotes, killing babies as a pastime, close quotes, and risks becoming a pariah state. These aren't radical Islamists or raging anti-Semites, but patriotic Israelis who think their country is losing the plot. Today, Israel announced that they've eliminated Hamas's chief in Gaza, Mohammed Sinwar, the younger brother of Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind behind the deadly attacks on October the 7th. That was seen as a huge win by Israel as they looked to justify the continued fighting. But how many innocent Palestinians are losing their lives as a consequence? Overnight, we saw more shocking scenes in Gaza as thousands of Palestinians overran an aid site run by a US and Israeli-backed group with the intention of taking control of food distribution away from the UN. Many experts believe that swathes of Gaza face imminent famine caused by an 11-week Israeli blockade, which is only now beginning to ease. How much longer can all this go on? Well, I'm joined by Israeli Ambassador to the UK, Zippy Hotovely. Ambassador, welcome back to Uncensored.
Good evening, Piers.
Incredibly damning comments from two former prime ministers of Israel and a former deputy chief of staff of the Israeli army. When you hear what they have to say, surely it gives you pause for thought, doesn't it?
Well, it's quite obvious for someone like you that understands politics that those people are coming from the opposition. Their job, in their opinion, is to fight whatever the government is doing. I think it's very anti-patriotic not to support Israel's war when we are fighting the most justified war in the world against a terror group.
Against children. Israel is fighting the most justified war in the world against children. These are terror children, and they must die. Piers, you are Hamas.
That committed the worst atrocities at the 7th of October. Just today, we remember 600 days that we still have 58 hostages in captivity. And I'm afraid to say, nowadays in Israel, you can't find even one leader that will say he's willing to live with Hamas on its doorstep. So if those people have any criticism, they should offer a plan how Hamas will be removed from the Gaza Strip, from controlling the doorstep of Israel, not committing the 7th of October again. I didn't get to hear that, not from European leaders that are criticizing Israel, and not from those opposition former leaders. So I must say that in the end of the day, Israel has a serious threat on its security. You will agree with that. No one wants to see people being massacred in their homes like we've seen at the 7th of October. And in order to do that, the aims of the war are still relevant. We want to bring back our hostages, and we want to make sure Hamas won't control the Gaza Strip. Every leader in the world, in the Western world, agrees on those two aims.
You know, you and I have spoken regularly or on a number of occasions throughout this war. I've always said from the start, as you know, that Israel had an absolute right and indeed duty to its people to defend itself after those appalling attacks. And my position about that hasn't changed. But I also kept asking one question, which was, what is a proportionate response? And I've got to tell you that in the last few weeks, I have found the Israeli government strategy in Gaza to be utterly disproportionate. And I'll explain to you why. When you launch a blockade for nearly 3 months to a population which already has seen much of their possessions, their land, their buildings, their homes decimated by bombardment after bombardment. When you say that you're going to launch a blockade on aid and food to a population where 50% are under 18, you are pursuing, it seems to me, as Ehud Olmert said, a policy of starvation towards, obviously, because of the nature of the population in Gaza, of a lot of children. And that is a war crime. I mean, what else do you call it?
I think when you look at the facts, and you should look at the facts, letting in 25,000 trucks with tons of aid, this is not a policy of starvation. Now, let me tell you what was Israel's policy from the beginning of the war. From the beginning of the war, we created a very clear distinction between the terrorists. We're talking about 50,000 people that embedded themselves in population, as you know. Just now, you just mentioned Mohammed Sinwar. He was found under a hospital, under the European hospital. He was hiding there because he knows exactly how the world reacts when Israel attacks hospitals. But those hospitals being abused and being used as a terror facilities. This is why Israel is allowed to operate there. Now, I'm going back to the policy of aid. In the last few days, as you know, Israel is launching a new program, a new mechanism to deliver aid because, unfortunately, and I'm saying that with a big pain, Hamas was looting the aid that all the world wanted to be let into Gaza. Now, everyone is interested that the population won't be starving. We don't want to see pictures of children that don't have something to eat.
Nothing she's saying is correct. It's actually kind of crazy. Nothing she's saying is correct. Incredible.
We all share the same interest.
Come on, Piers,
but
ask her, where's the evidence?
If Hamas is looting the aid, then we are empowering the war machine. And according to the international law, no country in the world has obligation to feed the war machine of the enemy. And this is what happened in the last few months. This is why Israel had to change the mechanism. This is why American companies are involved. So we'll have a buffer. We won't have to see Israeli soldiers combating Hamas while they're trying to loot the aid. The whole procedure is much more effective. And just in the last few days, we saw Hamas putting barriers for the population not to receive this aid. This is the same Hamas that uses his own people as human shields. So we are talking about a situation that's very difficult, very complicated. once Israel is fighting the Hamas terrorists, we still want aid to get in. And the mechanism, I believe, that Israel is putting now forward is so much better than the one that in the end of the day is empowering Hamas.
The problem is that whilst you're saying all this and trying to justify it, you've got people like Smodrich coming out and making it absolutely crystal clear what the real plan is, which is to completely clean out Gaza of all the Palestinians and get them into, quotes, a third country. That is a form of genocide. It is the deliberate targeting of people based on ethnicity and displacing them from their homes and killing a lot of them in the process. I don't know what else you would call it. I've resisted using the word genocide about this, but when I watched what Mr. Smodrich was saying and studied the exact words that he said, it is very hard to reach any other conclusion than that he is waging a strategy of genocide and would like to cleanse, as he put it, the whole Gaza Strip of all the Palestinians. So you can try and dress up that blockade, which is what it was for 3 months, where we saw the starving children you say you're concerned about, but you've got Smodrich there actually laying bare the real plan, which is to get all the Palestinians out of Gaza. And that is a form of genocide, isn't it? What else do you call it?
Well, let's begin with the fact that if you listen to the British media, you get the assumption that Smotrich is the Israeli prime minister. Well, he's not. He's not the one who's forming the policy on aid. And the policy you just quoted is actually...
So is he a liar?
No, all I'm saying is that his policy...
It's not just Bezalel Smotrich. Who's the finance minister, chap? Like, this isn't a random guy. He's just one of the many high-level officials. Netanyahu said the same.
Policy,
well, either he's lying or he's telling the truth.
His statements are not standing in one line with Israel's policy. This is as a matter of fact. Now, going back to what you quoted basically President Trump's plan. And President Trump's plan is speaking about making Gaza a better place. Gaza will be a better place without having a terror hub, without having the underground tunnel city, without having people firing on Israeli cities. Just in the last 2 weeks, there were more rockets being fired from Gaza to Ashkelon, to some Israeli southern cities. We are not interested with any of that. And I just want to remind you, just in case you're so interested with finishing the war can finish today. If Hamas will surrender, if Hamas will make sure that no weapons in Gaza, if we'll see demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, and if our hostages are back home, the war will be ending today. I mean, just imagine that.
All right, but let me ask.
Nope. I think Piers is not fucking fully on board with the movement, and that's why he's just like neutering his own arguments here. He could be absolutely fucking cooking her up like a flank steak here. Like the Bezalel Smotrich thing, it's not just him. You know what I mean? It's not just him. If that's the case, then what the fuck does like Netanyahu mean when he says we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we follow through with Trump's permanent ethnic displacement plan? That's what we're going to do. There's not going to be a statehood for Palestinians ever. You know what I mean?
I'll ask you though, but you accept that Israel has the strongest military in the Middle East, right? I am the proud owner of 2 cats, which are named after 2 Arsenal football legends. And like their owner, they are extremely demanding. How fortunate then that today's show is sponsored by Smalls, which happens to make incredible cat food. This stuff is packed with high quality protein, made with preservative-free ingredients, and is delivered directly to your doorstep. They started this back in 2017 with a few guys cooking good quality cat food at home. Now they've sold millions of cat meals nationwide, and the results speak for themselves. 88% of cat owners reported noticeable health improvements after switching. There's a risk-free trial, so you have nothing to lose except your cat's patience if you don't order soon. So give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time only, Uncensored viewers can get 35% off Smalls, plus an extra 50% off your first order by using the promo code Piers. That's an additional 50% off when you head to smalls.com and use promo code Piers. Again, that's promo code Piers for an additional 50% off your first order, plus free shipping at smalls.com.
We have a strong military, but very vulnerable population that's been hit by a terror organization. We're a small country. We're a small country that its border being invaded.
Fine. I just asked you a question as to whether you have the strongest military in the Middle East. You accept you do?
We do, but at the same time, we're a very vulnerable country when we're surrounded by radical Islamists.
Dude, I love that. I love that. She literally did the we're both incredibly strong and mighty, but also very small bead. Like, in the same second. It's crazy. Oh, we're a small bean country, Piers. Why are you saying this? Israel #1, but also Israel baby. Israel little baby. Also, Israel's enemies are terror babies. Yeah, Israel is both David and Goliath, dude. When the opportunity presents itself, it's a strong, proud, powerful nation. Militant, but also so tiny and so small, constantly under threat. This is baby on baby violence, Piers.
Yes,
including backed up by
I'm not here to defend radical Islamists.
I was pro-Israel when it first started because I was raised Christian nationalist. It was like an awakening. Imagine being raised into a member of the Nazi Party of the 1930s and realizing you were a disgusting subhuman. Thank you for not only informing me on the genocide, but also pulling me out of the cult. Hell yeah. I didn't do that, though. You did it. You were open-minded. You engaged in critical thinking. You engaged in something that contradicted your initial programming, and a lot of people don't do that. So I will always, always, always defend those who do and celebrate those who do. Remember,
Israel.
I'm not here to defend that. I'm not here to defend Hamas, who I think are a despicable terror organization. But you said there were 50,000 Hamas. Others have put the total figure at around 25,000, which begs the question, if after 18, 19 months now, you have been waging this ferocious war against 25, 26,000 terrorists, and you still haven't defeated them, you still can't get your hostages released, they're still not being released, it's clear to most people that your strategy is failing. But what you're doing is ramping up the attacks, ramping up the devastation, ramping up the clearing out of Gaza. You've got members of the cabinet openly saying they want to get...
Is it actually funny? Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. Why are you spamming this? Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Dude, stop spamming. I don't know. Oh my fucking Lord. I'm back. I'm back on the Jesus train. You can say bless you again. This guy made me find God. Find God!
Get rid of all the Palestinians and get them into another country. So it seems to...
Yeah, did Israel say it? Did Israel claim it? Then it's a lie, okay? That's my automatic lock.
Everybody else that what you're actually doing is not winning any war against Hamas. In fact, many people think, including intelligence that the Americans have received, for every Hamas terrorist you've killed, they've already been replaced multiple times with people with the same ideology. And that would explain why you can't get the hostages out. And in fact, the hostages, the more you bombard Gaza, the more you would say that their own lives become imperiled. And the overriding picture, which is what's getting Israel so much opprobrium around the world, is that your strategy isn't working. There's no clear plan for what happens at the end of all this. Hamas is still clearly alive and well and thriving. Yes, you've killed another one of their leaders today, but you killed his brother, who was the architect of October the 7th, months ago, and that didn't seem to make any difference to Hamas's ability to continue engaging in battle with you. And the argument remains, how many Palestinian civilian innocent lives, women and in particular children, are you prepared to kill as you continue going after Hamas when it doesn't appear that you're winning that battle? No,
of course Piers isn't fully there, and he will never get fully there. Piers' entire career is designed around never fully getting there, Chad. Sorry, didn't mean to spam. I'm new here. It's insane, bro. You know that. First of all, you're not supposed to spam because you kept changing the fucking goddamn question that you were asking. Calm down.
Strategy is failing.
Piers, how many Japanese children were killed under American attacks, and how many
Oh my God. Oh my God.
German children were killed?
Does anyone believe Piers is sincere good faith? No, I was talking to a Muslim normie homie of mine about this. And I like to hear from him, like, about his perspective. Because he's not, like, super invested in the online shit, but he loves Norm Finkelstein. Like, he fucking loves Norm Finkelstein. And he was so mad at Piers Morgan. He was like, that fucking piece of shit. He was like, that fucking piece of shit spent the first 19 months shitting on every fucking pro-Palestinian speaker, only to now turn around and act like he was with it the whole time. Anyway.
The UK attacks in the Second World War. Listen, I mean, if you want to play a fair...
Piers has never stopped inviting me on a show. I just stopped going on because I was annoyed. I was annoyed with the spectacle of it all. Okay? I could probably still go on a show whenever. He asks all the time. He has tried to do a one-on-one with me. He's tried to, like, have me on just by myself when I was in England, outside of England. He has an eye for talent. He has an eye for what drives clicks. He knows. He knows having me on the show does decently well. Now he's done this switch up, so maybe I'll go back on his fucking show. Yeah, he's the OG drama guy.
If you want to play a fair game, you need to understand how Western armies operated in the past. Israel is not anywhere near to the American attacks on Tokyo that killed 100,000 civilians, and not anywhere near to what the UK was doing in the Second World War. Now, when I'm looking about a strategy, I get to hear all the people criticize Israel today, including yourself, and then I'm asking you this question. If Israel finishes the war today and Hamas stays on our doorstep, what kind of future do you promise my children? A future that 7th of October will happen and again, just like Hamas leaders promised? This is what you expect the Israelis or the Israeli leadership to accept?
Hamas should not be allowed to run a Welk stall at the end of all this. They should have.
So how do you achieve that? How do you achieve that?
Well,
who's volunteering there to demilitarize the Gaza Strip?
No, that's different. Demilitarizing the Gaza Strip is a death sentence. Dude. One of the craziest parts about this is, like, they're both openly genocidal and doing genocidal shit while simultaneously going, why don't you put down your arms? Why the fuck would anybody do that? It would be immoral for Hamas to turn around and demand a demilitarization of all Palestinian resistance forces. And for the record, even if they were to say, yes, we are doing that, not a single fucking Palestinian faction, even the Al-Qassam brigades, would actually put down their fucking arms. Are you out of your mind? What kind of fantasy is this? It's fucking insane. Hey, put down your arms so we can Holocaust you easier is crazy. At least as it stands, a militant resistance exists, which at the very least stops the Israeli military from being able to fucking dominate the strip to the best of their ability. Because they're terrified that while they're in the process of scouring the underwear drawers of Palestinian women that they fucking killed and displaced, they get smoked. Absolutely fucking smoked. Why do people insist on eating on stream? I eat your mother's pussy off stream. If you want, I can eat your mother's pussy on stream too. Hey, dumb fuck. I'm live throughout the day. What do you want me to do? Not fucking eat? Suck my dick. Piece of shit. Also, you're fucking grounded. I'm your stepfather, okay? Nope. I'm not the stepfather. I'm the father that stepped up, and now you're fucking grounded. After PLO surrendered its weapons in 1982 and left Lebanon, Israel and a South Lebanon army proxy massacred over 3,500 Palestinian refugees in Sabra and Shatila. Yep. Also, the funniest part about it is half of you motherfuckers are eating while watching me. It's so crazy. Take a fucking break and eat. What the fuck? Yeah, this is why you're a 10-month subscriber and not a fucking 10-month Twitch streamer, okay? That's not how this works. That's not how this works. There's no fucking taking a break. Twitch is a continuous stream, okay? God damn. Why the fuck? Oh my God, we're back. We're back to the fucking annoying assholes who are up my fucking dick. Shut up. Shut up. I'm the fucking captain, okay? I'm the captain. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No other fucking industry where you just like as a random onlooker go, nah, I don't like the way you fucking foamed up that latte, dude. Hey, big dog, why don't you give it an extra spin? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Shut up. I don't come to your fucking place of work and go, hey, Karen, don't see you actually looking at those goddamn Excel spreadsheets. As a matter of fact, it seems like you got one AirPod in one ear listening to some fucking random dickhead named Hasanabi on his fucking Twitch stream while you're simply acting as though you're working. You see me doing that? Do you see me coming over to your place of work and being like, oh, I can't believe you're having spaghetti and meatballs for lunch. That's going to make you fart quite a bit, actually. How about you switch it up, sugar tits, for some broccoli? Like, do I do that? No. So why the fuck are you doing that to me? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I'm not actually mad. I'm memeing, but just quit the stream, dude. Okay, thanks, man. Yeah, I pay your salary, buddy. These are the exact same motherfuckers that lord over everyone in the service industry. Thank God I have the awesome power to be able to just fucking laser you out of existence and then humiliate you, regardless of the fucking 2 cents an hour that you pay me. Half the time you're not even doing that. You don't even have to do that. So goddamn entitled. Okay? So fucking entitled. It's like, duh, excuse me, I pay your salary. I pay you $6 a month and I get literally unlimited access to you every single fucking day. That's only a good line against cops. Yeah. Also, cops are the only motherfuckers who are able to kill you on the spot if you were to say that to them without any accountability whatsoever. Can you imagine how beautiful of a world it would be if, and I've said this before, if you were in the service sector, if you're like a waiter, right? Or if you work in retail, you work at a brick and mortar retail store, and some annoying asshole comes in and is like, I don't like the way you're, excuse me, I don't like the way you're presenting these t-shirts. I think there's a different method of folding that you should be applying, and you just basically hit a button, and that button automatically teleported them outside of the fucking store. Or, even better, that button actually fucking slammed their mouth shut so they couldn't make a noise any longer. How amazing would that be for you? If you ever worked in retail, I feel like, think about that. You go to a restaurant, some dickhead's like, hello, I'm going to tip you. I'm going to pay your salary. So, therefore, I get to make decisions on how you bring the wine. The wine should be brought before the aperitif waiter, garçon. And then you just go, click. You just go click, and then immediately you just shut off their mouth. Like Matrix. Like in the Matrix, where the mouth is just like shut off entirely. Think about how much more enjoyable your life would be. My partner and I argue about the best benign superpower. Ability to make someone shit themselves instantly is my pick. That's pretty good. I like that. I mean, another benign superpower would be to, like, with one snap, you just instantly transport someone that like 20 meters away from you. You know what I mean? You just go like that, boom. Teleport 20 meters away. That's not benign. No, that's why I said 20 meters. That's benign. 20 meters is benign. If you could do permanent teleportation, it would not be benign. It would be a very powerful superpower. But as long as you are able to do it for 20 meters, then it's benign. You know what I mean? All right, let's continue.
Respect, Ambassador, you clearly don't achieve it with the way that you're trying to achieve it. All you're achieving at the moment is making Israel more and more of a global pariah. When only a few days ago, you have 2 doctors in Gaza who have 10 children and 9 of them are killed in a bombardment by your forces. That doesn't make people feel, oh, this is all going great. It makes people think that you're waging a systematic destruction, not just of property and of land, but also of children. And that's what's happening. The percentage of children that you're killing compared to the percentage of you're killing of Hamas terrorists, what is it? Do you know? Do you
Piers,
know how many children you've killed? Hang on. Answer me that one question. Do you know how many Hamas terrorists you've killed and how many children you've killed? You know there's 2 numbers.
I know the numbers that came from the IDF. I know the numbers that came from a very, very established
Give me the 2 numbers.
Wait a second. We killed 30,000. We killed 30,000 terrorists in phase 1 of the war. Since the war is back, I don't have the numbers. But let me tell you one thing. We
and
never
how many children have you killed?
We never target civilians. So this question is irrelevant.
How many children have you killed?
Piers, Israel is not killing children. Israel is not killing children. Hamas is using them as human shields.
Israel is killing children every single day.
Piers, this is a blood label you're putting on Israel. You know it's not true.
That's such an insane lie that it's almost funny when you forget that it's like a real thing that's happening. Like, saying that Israel does not kill children is like saying Americans don't eat hamburger. Okay? I'm sorry. Permanently scarred. Your reputation is over. Israel will forever be tarred with the reputational damage. It deserves a lot more than reputational damage, let's be real, of being an op to babies. Okay? Israel's number one op are children. That is all Israel fucking kills. That's literally their number one enemy combatant. That's the only thing that Israel can fight back against, the fucking diaper force. Saying this is blood libel does not do what you think it does. He thinks, or she thinks, sorry. She thinks when she says, this is blood libel. You are Hamas doing blood libel. What she thinks is going on is like a lot of the onlookers are going to go, oh my God, I can't believe Piers Morgan is Hamas. I can't believe Piers Morgan is actually doing blood libel. No, a lot of people hear that and go, okay, is blood libel real then? Because I know Israel's number one enemy is babies. I've seen it with my own 2 fucking eyes. So all you've done, unironically, is now establish a defense for Nazis to say blood libel was real, see? And point to this. And these guys don't understand that. They literally cannot get out of their own heads. They think that everyone thinks like them. They think they've surrounded themselves with incredibly vicious people that have the exact same singular focus on murdering as many children as possible. So they think they can get away with this kind of commentary. They can't. Hasanabi is at it again. Insane. Someone like this has a platform. Dude, again, the numbers that do this, the number of people that do this is diminishing by the day. Have you guys noticed that? It's so funny because these like 38-year-old losers who fucking still live with their parents, if they were to talk to their moms and dads, even their fucking moms and dads who are otherwise conservative probably find what Israel's doing to be gross. But this dumb fuck still has to maintain this pro-Israeli position because like his favorite content creator is pro-Israel. You are nothing. You're not a human being, dude. You have literally dehumanized yourself. You are a chatbot for a fucking content creator. No matter what happens, I will forever think of that meme. It's like the chain being broken, the freedom meme. I think it was Evan who used that as a reply when it's like your mother, when she finally hears the gunshot sound coming from the basement, and it's just like the chain broken meme. It's one of the best fucking responses I've ever seen to like a psychotic neo-Nazi. Evan stole it from Right Wing Co-op? No, I mean, regardless of who came up with it. Look, I have a much nicer version of that I often say. I will usually say, this is the reason why your family acts like you're not around for Thanksgiving. You know? This is why, where they're like, oh, he's not around. You're upstairs. They tell you to come down after the whole fucking family is left to pick up the leftovers.